Bougie, are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Controversy and content. Welcome to Perazim's Classic Conversations hosted by Based and Bougie.
You was there, so I can't say anything. There was another scene where you was beating the life out of
You was
this
gonna get to that one
girl. When I say you was thumping her, I said, wait, what? You didn't spare no mercy for her.
And you know why I didn't spare no mercy? Because to me, it was just more of a thing now. You guys are taking the absolute piss. This is our time to go home now, and our flight is actually in a couple of hours. You come to start fight at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking to one of the other cast members, which is so funny because I'm literally so cool with this person now, and like we're friends and everything. I was talking to her mid conversation. The same person that you saw me in an altercation with had attacked me from behind without my knowledge, so I got snuck.
She snuck you, yeah.
Exactly, and my first instincts where I'm from is to just defend myself, kind of thing, because I've just been attacked. So I'm not gonna stand there and let anyone punk me, regardless of what anyone is gonna say, because of the fact that if the character I have, if I was to sit there and let someone then fight me, people will then attack me and then try and say, oh, I'm scared, I got beaten up. But then it gets very technical now, because then it's just like, for example, if I'm now not doing anything and you're provoking me, I'm not going to go out my way to hit you, kind of thing, because it's like me going out my way to hit you is not in my character. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I'm not a type of person to go around fighting. I don't really like fighting. When I get into fights, I feel bad afterwards, because it's like, that's not really me. But I have to defend myself because I'm not a punk. My mom didn't raise one.
Yeah. I do want to ask one question though. You are, okay, just correct me, you're transgender.
I wouldn't necessarily say trans. That's what people assume because of what they see. And that's what I was going to say, like, people on social media will come on social media, you'll see things. But when you actually meet someone, that's when you actually meet the real person. So I feel like because a lot of people see how I am, they just automatically assume that because I do look feminine, I have a feminine voice, my aura is feminine, everything about me is just girly. So you're not going to think twice by looking at me. But people that actually know me, I'm literally just myself. Like, I've never taken any medication or anything like that. I'm just literally myself, and I'm literally one and only Goodie. There's no one else that is literally like me, kind of thing. Each to their own, and everyone's on their own separate journey. But I feel like within myself, I am still on my own journey, but I just feel like it's a different journey to other people, because logically and biologically, I am still a boy, and logically, I know what I am, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't necessarily say I'm trans, because I haven't done anything or started to go into that field to then classify myself as trans, if that makes sense.
So you haven't taken any hormones or basically transformed yourself yet. So you're
exactly
not still a boy. So with that being said, like with you being a male and obviously the way you was hitting that woman, do you think that was appropriate? Like for a male to be hitting
so that was my
female.
That was my point, which I was telling you before. And I feel like a lot of people will see one thing and they just saw me on the shaper opening up a car door, fighting Lani, and then me fighting another girl. They haven't seen the behind the scenes or what led up to the fight and stuff. So when I told you before, I was mid-sentence, obviously talking to another cast member, and I was attacked from behind. My first instinct is to protect myself and defend. So I'm now fighting. And unfortunately, obviously going to have the upper hand. And I'm not always going to have the upper hand, because there's always someone that's bigger and better than you, girl or boy. But that person just obviously felt like, because of the type of person I am, she obviously probably thought that she was going to be able to beat me up, in other words, because it's a fighting show. So these girls came on the show, and this is what I was saying, a lot of these people came with the intentions to fight, and that wasn't my intentions. So when I'm now put in a situation where I'm know what the show's about, and I'm not going to double back down knowing what the show is about, because a lot of people will come onto the show trying to act stupid and act confused when certain situations are happening. But you knew what you came here for, and you knew what what could have transpired, or you know what could have potentially happened. So I can't sit here and say, oh, I didn't come to fight. I never came to do this. No, I didn't have intentions to fight, and I had intentions to obviously work on my business and get more exposure. But then I know what's going to come along with it. So me putting myself in that situation, I can't blame anyone but myself of how I got painted out to be. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like anybody should be putting hands on anybody, male or female. And I feel like if you're going to put your hands on somebody in an appropriate way, that's fine. But if you're putting your hands with no reasons behind it and you're being disrespectful with using aggression and using your hands physically, whatever happens afterwards, you have to deal with the consequences. Because every action has a reaction.
So say, for example, you had a son and your son was 6 foot. Say, for example, he's arguing with his girlfriend and his girlfriend just hits him from behind. Would you encourage your son to hit that woman back because you don't want your son to be a punk?
All right. In that context, I wouldn't allow that to happen, only because you're in a relationship, and I feel like you shouldn't necessarily, if you're in a relationship, arguments are going to happen. You're going to get frustrated. So I feel like if you have to go and lead and use your hand first time to fight someone and use aggression, because obviously your partner may have hit you or said something that you may not have liked. I feel like that's how you are as a person, kind of thing. Because in a relationship, it's classified as domestics. So with that being said now, that's basically what you are. You're showing domestic abuse in your relationship. Whereas now, if you're having a fight out on the street, it's different because you're not in a relationship with that person. You're more in flight mode. So anybody could come up from behind me. I'm still going to react the same. Whereas now I have morals and respect because my mum has brought me up. She didn't drag me up. So if I was in a relationship or if I had a son or something, I would raise them how to treat a lady right.
So you basically agree that men should not be
No, they should not hit women.
Period, at all. Okay.
At all.
And that's what I like about you. At least you're accountable. You're accountable for the fact that you think Badderz UK doesn't paint women out in the best light. You're accountable for the fact that men should not be hitting women, and you're also accountable for the fact that you didn't really do the right thing and you was triggered. So that's the side of Goodie that I usually see, and that's why we wanted to have you on here so people can see this side too.
Do you get it?
Speaking of, the whole trans thing, do you think trans women are women?
That is something that we can actually get into, because you know what? I feel like a lot of people, are so... Me, as I said, I always speak for myself. I was raised, I'm half African, half Caribbean. My mum's my mum's fully Jamaican and my dad's Seychelles and Egyptian, So with that being said, I've always also to top of that as well, I have 5 brothers. So I've always been raised up in a certain type of way.
You have 5 brothers?
Yeah. I've got sisters as well, but I've got 5. I've got 5. I've 4 older brothers and then 1 younger brother. But so with that being said, the way my mentality is very different to I would say people in LGBT community kind of thing, because I have friends that are in LGBT community and the ones that I have been around, they I wouldn't say they move different, but the way their brain process thought is to certain things in life is very nonchalant. That's the word. And the reason why I'm saying that is because me as myself, as a gay person, as I said, however I look, that's just how I look. I cannot sit here and then tell someone, oh, I'm a woman, because biologically I am not. So regardless of what you've done, whether you have gone and got cosmetic surgery and dolled up yourself to look how you want to look, you physically and biologically are not that. But if you want to live your life and want people to identify you as she, he, they, who, whatever your pronouns are to be, that's fine, and people have to respect that. But to physically sit here and to argue with people calling you or having to, because that's another thing as well. You can't give respect. you get respect. And I feel like a lot of people feel like they try to demand respect. So I feel like in that aspect, they feel like, oh, because we're this, people should automatically bow down and start calling us this. No, people are not going to start calling you these type of things or these names that you want people to call you by. One, as I said, I'm only speaking for myself. Some gay people do too much and make people feel uncomfortable.
Sorry, this is the first time I'm actually hearing someone who that can actually finally say it. Like, sorry to stop.
You know me, I'm unfiltered. That's it how it is.
Yeah,
so
because I feel like a lot of people in the LGBTQ community, I'm so sorry, but you guys try to force your ideologies down our throat way too much, and it's uncomfortable. So for you to actually sit here and admit, no, biologically people are going to address you how you see you, is actually refreshing, because it's annoying. Like, for example, my colleague's son, he got detention after school because he didn't refer to his transgender teacher as Mr. X. Like, if you look,
and the child, the people got detention.
yeah, that's like the child. All he knows is man and woman. But you have people getting arrested, you have people going to jail, all because they are choosing to say what they see with their eyes, which is a man. So do you feel like the LGBTQ community?
So that's I'm so happy you literally said it spot on, because they can see a man. So that's my thing now. And I just feel like, to me, as I said, as myself a gay person, each to their own, everyone's on their own journey. Do you get it? Respect to all. But I just feel like, if you know you literally look like a masculine man and you literally look like someone that has just painted makeup onto your face, you now can't, to me, I just feel like you're disrespecting yourself. And the reason why I would say that is because you do live your life and feel comfortable. If you doing that makes you feel and sleep good at night, you're more than welcome to do that. But let's be real. In this day and age, people are not very comfortable with certain things, and it doesn't just have to be with how you appear. So, for example, where I've seen a lot of things online, people battle with whether, and it goes both ways, whether it's the girls, like a stud girl using the male's bathroom, or a trans woman using the ladies' bathroom. And I just feel like if you physically look how what you was born as, I don't feel like you should cross those boundaries, because you're going to make people feel uncomfortable. And it's not because of the fact that, oh, they don't respect what you're doing. You literally physically look like a man and you're in the ladies' bathroom. So why are you here? A lady could have their young child in there. Like, and let's be real, not everyone that may seem to be what they are actually that. A lot of people are with sheets and wolf clothing. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I could appear how I could appear to be. You don't. I could be going back home to lay down with a girl in bed. So the same way how you could have that man in a lady's bathroom appearing to be a woman and saying that he's gay, you don't know. He could still have physical attractions, or still could get an arousement of women.
Yeah.
So I just don't feel like it is acceptable.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy that you said something where it says you're making other people uncomfortable. And I feel like that's what the LGBT community has done, is that they're not respecting, for example, straight people, Christian people, conservative people. They're not respecting our boundaries or our bathrooms or how we want to call people's pronouns. And I'm actually so shocked, because I was expecting this conversation to go the complete opposite way. I thought we was going to be having a back and forth. But your ability to actually be accountable is great, because I just feel like, why are you forcing people to believe something that is not truth? It's like, for example, me saying I'm a white mermaid pony, and now everyone should call me a white mermaid pony. It's just like,
no, but it's true. It's true.
But do you feel like the LGBTQ is stretching it? Because one thing I've realized is that I've spoken to one gay person, and they said to me, when, you know, the LGBTQ thing was happening, all I wanted was just my rights to marry my husband. But now it's turned into this parade. And he said, as though the LGBTQ community is kind of making a mockery of him, in the sense that all he wants to do is go to work, be with his husband, and just not get beat up on the streets. But now it's like we have men half naked twerking with children in a flipping classroom. Like, so do you feel like they're just taking it a bit too far and a bit inappropriate?
Yeah, and I feel like express yourself, however, because when we go back home now, as I said, I'm half Caribbean, there will be obviously real women that will be shaking their asses out in the streets, dancing and wearing all sorts of different types of costumes, which are basically materials, because you can still see most of their body parts. So I feel like because of the fact that gay people wasn't allowed to express themselves in a certain type of way, I feel like because certain countries have allowed gay people to do certain things, I feel like, you ever heard the saying when your parents is like, I give you an inch and you take a length? I feel like that's exactly what the LGBT community has done.
They're taking it too far.
The government or whatever society they're in have given you an inch, and you guys have literally taken that inch of rope and you've literally stretched it out and just taken a length.
Yeah.
And that length you've taken still has an impact on other people, because when I was growing up in school, there was never any problem of speaking about sexual education. I'm old, so there was never any, when I was going to school, there wasn't really, internet just started to come around those times. I think it was around like MySpace and stuff. So when I was at school, there wasn't really a room space for parents to voice their opinions on education. It was more taken up with the school board if there was actual issues.
Yeah.
So I feel like because time has gone on and a lot of things are publicized on the internet and advertised, and we children have access to the internet, I now feel like sexual education has affected parents, because it makes them depressed, it makes them feel uncomfortable, and they start feeling mentally I wouldn't say confused, but I'll say mentally aggravated with the schools and the government, because they feel like they shouldn't be teaching these type of things, because you're basically, in other words, they see it as you're corrupting our children's heads.
Yeah.
And the reason why they say that is because of what the new generation are now showcasing and putting out there. You go and teach my child now about sexual education, and it's okay to be gay, it's okay to be a lesbian, it's okay to be whatever you want to be. My child's now going to go back home confused and go and Google that.
Yeah.
And so much things could spring off just by typing the one word of what does gay mean. You could end up finding the meaning to something that the child shouldn't even be seeing. So I feel like because the internet has a gateway to children, I feel like a lot of adults don't want their children to study that type of subject, because, as I said, when I was in school, there wasn't an issue with studying it.
Yeah.
I never heard any complaints. I'm sure you probably study sexual education.
Yeah.
There wasn't really an offspring or outrage about young people's learning about it. And the only reason why, as I said, I think that is because when we was young, if we was to learn something in school, it would stay in school. It wasn't a thing where we found out we needed to investigate and start being curious.
Yeah. I do want to ask you one question. So you have the LGBTQ ABCDEFG movement, and they've
The alphabet.
Yeah, the alphabet. And they've recently added another term, which is MAPS, which basically stands for minor attracted people. So they're basically trying to normalize pedophilia. So they're saying that it's okay for an adult to love a child. What's your thoughts on that?
To be honest, from when I first heard there was LGBT, no, was it? Yeah, LGBT, I stopped. From when they done the Q's and the A's and after I didn't keep up. So to even hear this now, I'm just even gobsmacked. Because I just feel like
They've literally
there's only... Obviously, you can split it up into three, which just makes sense. Gay, straight, and bisexual. The reasons to me saying this is because, and as I said, I can only speak for myself as a person, regardless of how you look, biologically, you're still physically what you are. There's no other being on this planet that has a different sexual part than either male genitals or female genitals.
Yeah.
So when you go into bed, that's what you're physically attracted to. The appearance is just a skin. You can change your skin the same way when you're playing like GTA, you change your skin, you change your outfit, your hair, your skin color, whatever. We will do it here. If you want to bleach, change your skin, change your wigs, change your makeup. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I feel like there's only so to the answer to your question is, I just feel like,
do you think older people can love younger children?
No, I don't feel like older people can love younger children, and I feel like that's why I was saying I feel like there's only gay, straight, and bisexual, because what you like is what you like. So when you're now trying to add extra things to now sugarcoat or to gaslight the reason why this should be acceptable, or to push this narrative that you want to feel like it's okay for elder men or elderly women to obviously sleep with minors, because it isn't just men. We hear about young women teachers who are getting with these younger boys, and it's nasty, and it's sickening, because it's just like, that could be your child.
Yeah.
You're a teacher.
So the Pride movement is always saying love is love. Do you think love is love?
No, love is not love.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Finally, someone can say it.
Like, love is the word love, but I feel like to people, everybody has different meanings to love.
Yeah.
So a child is not going to have the same love as an adult's love, because an adult's love is different. They have gone through traumatic experiences. They have seen different things. They've been in love already. So their love that they would have to dish out could be many reasons of type of love that they're trying to give, because they've experienced so much different things. So they know the type of love that they want to dish out. Where a child's love, before they reach the age of innocence, the love they're going to give is just innocent love.
And that's why I feel like that term love is so demonic. Because for me, as a Christian, I feel like, no, love is not love. Love has boundaries. Love comes in different formats. For example, when you're a child, the only love you crave is protection. As you become a teenager, the only love you crave is maybe, like, I don't know, sex. And then you become an adult, the love you crave is just commitment, a life partner. So when they say that love is just love, is so demonic, and it allows things like this MAPS community, these people, to just run wild,
to start feeling allowed, or
and it's demonic, because it's completely
yeah.
transforming the real true meaning of love,
corrupting.
I also wanted to say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe in gayness. I think being gay is fake. And the reason why I feel like being gay is fake, because I notice a lot of gay people, like, for example, a woman who will say she's a lesbian, but she's with another woman that looks and acts like a man, who's basically a stud. And then you have a gay man, he says he's gay, but he's with a man who's very feminine. So naturally, gay people are actually attracted to the opposite sex, but they're attracted to the same people who act like the sex they say they're not attracted to. So what was your explanation behind that? Why is it that gay people say they don't like the opposite sex, but only get with the same sex who acts like the opposite sex?
I feel like it all depends, because me as a person, as I said, I like to speak for myself, because I don't like to put words in people's mouths. But me as a gay person, I just feel like, see how you said like gay is not real kind of thing? I just feel like whatever you're attracted to and whatever you're drawn to is what you like, because that's what your head's telling you. Like, I don't really feel like there's a physical meaning to that word gay, because years ago gay meant happy. They just, I don't know when in timeline it changed to being gay means you like the opposites, the same sex. But I just feel like if you like this, that's what you like.
You know, so funny, I remember I asked that question on TikTok. I said, why do gay people like the opposite sex, the same sex, but they act different? And every single one of them just kept saying it's because I just like penises, I just like vaginas. That's literally it. It had nothing to do with, oh, I like their character. It was just like sex. And this is why, sorry to say this, but this is why I find the LGBTQ community to just be so perverted.
And that's why a lot of people find
it's just about sex.
And don't, and that's why a lot of people just are not fundamental with it, because they push the sex narrative so much that it makes people feel uncomfortable. And I don't know if it's because of the fact that, because gay is not something that's so openly done, only now it's being openly done, that because they wasn't able to just have normal relationships and stuff, so that they've tried to fantasize over sex so much. And I feel like that may be the reason to why now they're in the open, they're just able to publicize sex so much. But I just feel like that's what makes people get put off, because not all gay people are like that, or not everyone that likes the same sex is like that kind of thing, if that makes sense.
And that's why, like, if gay people came around and just
because I could sit down here and there could be another gay man in front of me, and it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I want to have sex with him, because it's just like, I feel like, as you said, if that's how you are, that means you've got literally a dirty, perverted mind.
Yeah, dirty. And I'm so happy you can admit that. And that's why I find the LGBTQ community to be very demonic, because they don't promote, like, if they was to come and say...
And that's why I don't really have gay friends.
Oh, really?
I don't have I've spoken to gay friends, and I have gay friends in the community, but...
Is it because you think they're, like, mentally not stable?
one, they're not most of them are not mentally stable. Two, I feel like the stuff they get up to as well is not really in my forte. And I just feel like the third one is they just don't know how to move correctly, kind of thing. And as I said, for someone that comes from the type of background and lifestyle I come from, I just feel like I was just shown and taught a lot of things. So
raised the proper way.
Yeah, and me as a girl, I've never had to come out to my parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never had to come out. So I just felt like growing up, I was already just molded into how to move correct and around certain people and how to move in certain environments. And when you don't have that home training, you're just going to tend to put people off. And with me, I can't be around anyone that's embarrassing me. Straight up, I can't.
And that's another thing. Like, if the LGBTQ movement just came out and said, hey, we just want to love, and that's it, then I would be like, okay, cool. Even though I'm Christian, I don't agree with it, but okay, cool. But with everything, it's just sex. It's just men dressed up in the wigs. It's just men dressed up in thongs, twerking in front of children.
It's too much.
Like, it's not something that I can ever respect. I do want to dive into your upbringing a little bit. Did you grow up in like a Christian religious home by any chance?
So funny.
Sorry to disappoint you guys, but the full episode is going to be on Perazim Magazine's YouTube channel. Click the link in the bio and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.